The idea that the meaning of life is simply to live touches on a profound and elegantly simple truth. It suggests that life itself, in its purest form, is the purpose. Rather than searching for a grand external meaning, the act of living, experiencing, growing, connecting, and being present becomes the answer. This perspective encourages us to embrace life in all its complexity and simplicity. It asks us to find meaning in the everyday moments, the relationships we build, the challenges we overcome, and the joys we experience. Life becomes about being fully present, appreciating the journey rather than fixating on a distant goal or purpose. It also resonates with the idea that meaning is not something to be found outside of us, but something we create through our choices, actions, and experiences. By living authentically and fully, we inherently fulfill the meaning of life. This approach can be freeing because it removes the pressure to find some ultimate, elusive purpose. Instead, it invites us to focus on living well with intention and awareness, making each moment meaningful in its own right. Let's compare and contrast the views of several philosophers who have tackled the meaning of life, particularly those who have engaged with nihilism and hedonism, and see how the idea of living as the purpose might offer a resolution to these views. Nihilism is often associated with the belief that life has no inherent meaning or value. Philosophers like Friedrich Nietzsche grappled with nihilism, especially in the context of the death of God and the resulting loss of absolute moral values. Nietzsche feared that without these values, people might fall into despair or meaninglessness. Nietzsche's response. Nietzsche proposed the concept of the Übermensch, overman or superman, who creates his own values and meaning in a world devoid of inherent purpose. He urged individuals to embrace life with a spirit of amor fati, love of fate, suggesting that one should affirm life in all its aspects, even its suffering. Living as the purpose. In contrast to nihilism, the idea that the purpose of life is to live fully and authentically can be seen as an antidote to the despair nihilism brings. Instead of seeing life as meaningless, this perspective encourages us to find meaning in the act of living itself. By focusing on the present and the experience of life, one can transcend the void that nihilism warns about. It's about finding joy in the journey, regardless of external purpose. Hedonism. Hedonism posits that pleasure is the highest good and primary motivation of human life. Classical hedonists, like Epicurus, believed that the pursuit of pleasure, particularly the avoidance of pain, is the central aim of human existence. Epicurus's view. Epicurus distinguished between higher and lower pleasures, advocating for a life of modest pleasures, intellectual pursuits, and friendships over fleeting or indulgent pleasures. He saw tranquility and freedom from fear as the ultimate forms of happiness. Living as the purpose. The idea of life as its own purpose differs from hedonism in that it does not prioritize pleasure as the ultimate goal. Instead, it suggests that life, in all its aspects, joy, pain, growth, and struggle, holds inherent value. While hedonism focuses on maximizing pleasure and minimizing pain, living fully means embracing the full spectrum of human experience, not just the pleasurable parts. This broader approach may lead to a more balanced and sustainable sense of fulfillment. Existentialism. Existentialism, particularly in the works of Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus, explores the idea that life has no inherent meaning and that it is up to individuals to create their own purpose. Sartre's view. Sartre famously said, "Existence precedes essence," meaning that humans first exist and then must define their essence through actions. This places the burden of meaning squarely on the individual, which can be both liberating and daunting. Camus' absurdism. Camus, on the other hand, argued that life is inherently absurd because we seek meaning in a meaningless universe. His solution was to embrace the absurdity, continue living and finding joy in the struggle, much like Sisyphus pushing his boulder up the hill. Living as the purpose. The idea of life as its own purpose can complement existentialist views by emphasizing that the search for meaning does not have to be a burden. Instead, the act of living, making choices, engaging with the world, and experiencing life is itself meaningful. This approach aligns with the existentialist idea of creating meaning, but removes the angst associated with the search for a grand external purpose. Stoicism, as practiced by philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, teaches that one should live in accordance with nature, accept what cannot be controlled, and cultivate inner virtues. Stoic view. Stoics believe that a good life is one lived in accordance with reason and virtue, focusing on what is within one's control and accepting the rest with equanimity. Living as the purpose. This idea aligns closely with Stoicism. Both perspectives emphasize living in the present moment, accepting life as it is, and finding purpose through the way one lives, rather than seeking an external goal. Stoicism's emphasis on virtue and rationality can complement the idea that living well, with intention and mindfulness, is itself a fulfilling purpose. Resolving maladaptations. By viewing life as its own purpose, we can resolve the potential maladaptations of nihilism, hedonism, and other philosophies that may lead to despair, overindulgence, or a sense of meaninglessness. This perspective encourages 1. Embracing the present, finding meaning in the act of living each day without needing to justify existence through external achievements or pleasures. 2. Accepting life's duality, recognizing that both joy and suffering are intrinsic to life and that meaning can be found in all experiences, not just the pleasurable ones. 3. Creating personal meaning. Instead of seeking a universal purpose, individuals can find personal meaning through their actions, relationships, and experiences. In essence, by focusing on the simple yet profound act of living, we can integrate the strengths of various philosophical traditions while avoiding their potential pitfalls. This approach offers a balanced, holistic way to navigate the complexities of life.